Hello, everyone. Presently, we are experiencing an interesting aspect when Neptune turned retrograde on the 28th June, along with the new moon in Cancer. Now, centuries ago, starting with telescopes, we humans discovered increasing detail about the actual structure of the solar system. And we astrologers hypothesize that this increase in astronomical knowledge would soon suggest a simultaneously discovery in greater detail about the human mind. I think we would be able to prove that sooner or later. The key here is that as our knowledge of the cosmos has deepened, so has our knowledge of the human mind. Today, I am concentrating on the planet Neptune, which is intrinsically linked to water. Now, water is symbolic of the unseen influences that act on human beings, represented by intuition, dreams, and psychic perception. We cannot fathom the depths of the seas and oceans, but we always feel the currents underneath. Similarly, while we may not be able to understand the source of intuition, but we somewhat know that it is linked to our emotions. The retrograde energies of Neptune is a reminder for us to take out time in order to explore our emotions, which invariably help us to be better tuned not only with our inner psyche, but also enable us to understand others. The metaphor water linked to Neptune is largely because the energies of Neptune affect the water content in our body. Focus on what water teaches us. It helps us understand the advantage of being adaptable and flexible. It helps us understand that while going with the flow doesn't mean that one is meek, submissive, and accepting of situations that are harmful for our growth, but in fact, it apprises us of resilience in times of adversity. Finally, water is a symbol of life and healing. It has for centuries been viewed as a source of cleansing and renewal, a cause of healing for even the most serious of ailments. So, just like water clears away the mud and grime from a person's body, so too can it clear away the dirt on a person's heart and mind, allowing them to have better clarity of vision and understanding of their own place in the world. If you notice, the gylf of the planet Neptune is an important consideration. When trying to understand the power and influence the planet Neptune holds over people, it's an artistic representation of the trident. The trident is a three pronged weapon, the lower half of the trident resembling a cross. The trident is similar in shape to the Trishul, which is a divine weapon of the gods Shiva and Durga in Hinduism. The 3 points of the weapon represent several trinities, depending on the source and religious traditions. These include spiritual, psychic, relative clarity, knowledge and wisdom, your soul, passion, creation, order, and destruction. Now, Neptune is the planet that rules over illusion, confusion, inspiration, and your dreams. It's also linked to the waters of creation, destruction, and purification. So, Neptune also rules over the star sign Pisces in astronomy. Once again, Neptune also rules over the star sign Pisces in astronomy, a sign that is known for its attributes, namely intuition, dreams, and psychic ability. So, similarly, the three prongs of the trident in the Neptune symbol also represents the trinities, namely body, life, and death, past, present, and future, your mind, body, and spirit. So, during the retrogrades, it impacts and awakens your spirit, developing self awareness, the dissolution of the boundaries between the spirit and the self. Your will can urge to transcend and become something greater than you currently are. You can avail the opportunity of this period to manifest your dreams as the energies of Neptune at its best during the retrograde are truly uplifting and transformative. It can inspire visionary ideas, religious devotion, creativity, and compassion. However, the influence of Neptune largely depends on what your mind focuses on, the positive or negative. At its worst, its influence can result in a loss of the sense of self and can trigger self destructive behavior. It can be regressive and lead to escapism, madness, and addiction. So, awareness of yourself is very important during this retrograde period. The astrological role of Neptune represents your psychic receptivity, inspiration, intuition, dreams, illusion, and confusion. Now, Neptune manifests an individual's dreams into reality. Since dreams strengthen your imaginative power, they are also an integral part of any creative process. So, when artists or architects get an idea in their dreams, they often wake up and doodle their idea in the middle of the night. I myself have done it so many times that when an idea comes or is downloaded by the universe in my mind, I get up and jot it down in my diary. Later, they build on this idea, which turns out to be a creative venture. They often claim that these ideas were life changing or out of the box. During the retrograde process, these Neptunian energies become intense and more powerful. We all are blessed with psychic powers. However, now is the time to awaken and activate them, which is possible only by implementing certain mental and spiritual activities into our lifestyle. The idea is to exercise the inactive and dormant psychic abilities lying within, thereby transforming your life. The more you practice and train, the stronger your psychic abilities get. Just like you need to train for physical endurance or any other skill, you also need to practice developing your psychic abilities. Now, during this retrograde, if you make up your mind, it will be relatively easy for you to take care of your physical and mental health. This, in turn, automatically helps you become strong emotionally and spiritually, thus enhancing your intuitive psychic abilities. So, for the physical health, what you need to do is focus on what you eat, prepare a balanced diet. The food you eat defines your health in the long run. At the same time, indulge in physical activities. Get your routine, your physical routine in order. Get your daily dose of exercise or activities to keep yourself fit. It can be a simple cardio exercise like walking or running, or an intense sport. Get proper sleep and drink more water to keep yourself fit and mentally agile. And for your mental health, it's basically physical is important because it actually indulges in your endomorphins, and your adrenaline rush is what gives you mental clarity. Now, for mental health, meditation helps to relax the mind, which brings forth the true powers of psychic abilities. Neptune is associated with deep meditation, awakening your third eye psychic abilities. Other ways to develop mental fitness include aromatherapy, visualization practices, journaling, de stressing, and taking frequent breaks. Now, Jupiter and Neptune share joint rulership of Pisces, and like the siblings, they have much in common. Both can be associated with various aspects of man's search for meaning amidst the excesses of all kinds that are created around us in this world. Neptune symbolizes the sea. In many ways, the sea is an appropriate symbol for the planet, being boundless, unfathomable, and its danger and vastness usually being underestimated. Now, both Uranus and Neptune challenge the boundaries urged and compelled by Saturn. Although powerful, water has no form, no shape, and no edges. In keeping with this, Neptune works by undermining and dissolving what it touches, taking away any sense of definition. Imagine drawing a line on a piece of paper with a soft pencil or charcoal. The line is representative of Saturn, definitive. Whereas the effect of Neptune is that like of a soggy finger rubbing over the line, soon or sooner or later it will become indistinct and hazy. So during the retrograde Neptune, it helps you feel in unison with your soul. The energies make you feel in unison with your soul. You start getting connected with your soul. So structures that time are no longer important. So you need to start redefining yourself through your own psychic awakening. There is no longer any separation between conscious and unconscious. While this feeling of oneness is key to the mystical experience, as one has to lose oneself in order to merge with the divine, or I would say surrender. At the individual level, you can truly awaken your senses and become the person you want to be. We exist in the world of personality and ego. We as individuals are responsible for creating our own experiences and destinies, dealing with our own karma and the issues that come up in life. To be sane, all of that personality work has to be done honestly and authentically. Best is honesty to yourself, not to anybody else. And that's one half of what we are. Then there is this vastness outside us. Close your eyes for a moment, feel your oneness, feel your silence, feel your spaciousness. There's the direct experience of what I feel as merging with your higher self inside out. Neptune helps us directly in this direction or in this connection. The energies of the planet Neptune bridges the gap between the consciousness and the cosmos. We can feel the light of the cosmos pour into us. This particular planet represents the interface between the ego and the unfathomable spaciousness of the deep psyche. Consider Neptune as the mirror through which we see our own reflection. We look into the deep sea of our own eyes as our own eyes look back into us. We come face to face with our ego, the pluses and the minuses within us. Neptune is not free of ego's distortions, nor is it purely defined by a more narrow egoic drives and appetites. To understand it, we have to dance on the razor's edge of that paradox. The nature of Neptune is to help you realize the fact that what you see about yourself in the soul mirror, does it require some cleaning or not? You want your Neptunian mirror to be unsoiled so that what you see makes you confident, proud, and happy. You want it clean so that you can see and feel your own projection. Is it the way you want it? How you're projecting yourself in the world? Feeling and speaking your truth is the lesson of learnings here during this retrograde. Now, here you also need to understand that Pluto and Neptune go hand in hand. Neptune is sextiling Pluto, and it's an intergenerational planetary aspect lasting from 1950 to 2032. Now, here is the whole point in a single sentence. With Pluto and Neptune in sextile, spirituality and psychology support each other. This sextile dominates the evolutionary intents or intention of a present age. We are living in an epoch that not only embraces the discovery of the unconscious, but also an equally important discovery, which is the true meaning of spiritualism. By doing introspection from time to time and coming face to face with our own realities, we develop a healthy relationship with ourselves. We evolve as we grow in life through learning from our mistakes and honestly rectifying them. To have a healthy Neptune reflection of our true self, you have to have a healthy Pluto. That is the courage to speak your truth and rising like a phoenix from the ashes. If you cannot deal with your psychological issues, that will put a big deterrent or a limit on your spiritual growth. Now, here I'm reminded of an awesome composition by Bulle Shah, which was written in between 1680 to 1757, a Punjabi Sufi poet. In this composition, Bulle Shah reminds us to focus on taking steps towards dissolving our ego, the I, instead of continuing to amass spiritual knowledge by reading books or attending seminars. He says, ਪੜ ਪੜ ਇਲਮ ਤੇ ਫਾਜ਼ਿਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਕਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਭੱਜ ਭੱਜ ਵੜਨਾ ਹੈ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਮਸੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਕਦੇ ਮਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਲੜਨਾ ਹੈ ਰੋਜ਼ ਸ਼ੈਤਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਕਦੇ ਨਫਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੜਿਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ। Literally meaning in English, you read to become all knowledgeable, but you never read yourself. You run to enter temples and mosques, but you never entered your own heart. You rush to holy shrines to play a part. Would you dare enter the shrine of your heart? Every day you fight the Satan, but you never fight your own ego. You're quick to attack the evil one, yet pride is a battle you have not won. So he's telling himself, Bulle Shah, you try grabbing that which is in the sky, but you never get hold of what sits inside you. You grab for a star you can control, yet fail to grasp the light in your soul. Now, his poetry highlights his mystical spiritual voyage through the 4 stages of Sufism, which is Shariat, that is the path, Tariqat, which is the observance, Hakikat, which is the truth, and Marfat, which is the union. So, the true meaning of this long running sextile of Pluto and Neptune, it is the marriage of psychology and spirituality. Love yourself to love others. So, with the energies of Neptune and Pluto, everybody creates their own truth, which is essentially the essence of existentialism. Bottom line, you have to be yourself. You have to know yourself and be yourself in order for the psyche to be healthy enough to live in a sane relationship with these Neptunian realms. Otherwise, those realms eat you alive in more ways than one. Now, there's an ancient formula in the Upanishads, the Hindu sacred text, which is known as Atma and Brahman are one. Atman basically means soul, and for Brahman is more like the cosmos, the universe. The idea is that if you go deeply enough into yourself, you realize you've gone out into the universe. In a nutshell, the experience of synchronicity teaches us that the brain can be defined, but a mind cannot be defined. Yet, with Neptunian energies, it bridges our inner and outer worlds in unison. And this reflects a pivotal Neptunian truth: no boundaries, no divisions. So, this retrograde season of the Neptune, which has started on 20th June, ending till on December 3rd, it's actually giving you enough time to develop your intuition and sixth sense. Here, let me tell you a factual story. Lord Kelvin, the head of the Royal Society in England, who lived from 1824 to 1907, once famously pronounced that there is nothing new to be discovered in physics now. All that remains is more and more precise measurement. Now, along came Albert Einstein, who said, what if space and time are not constants? That's Einstein, the Pisces. Einstein, the Neptunian energy. He was born on March 14, 1879 in Ulm, Germany, with a Pisces sun, Pisces on the mid MC, and Neptune sextile the ascendant. Here's the origin of the special theory of relativity as a kid. Now, Einstein was riding his bicycle as fast as he could down a hill, and he noticed that the world was looking a little different as he sped through it faster and faster on his bicycle. He started to wonder, What would the world look like if I were going as fast as anything can possibly go? That's 186 to 82.3 miles per second in a vacuum, the speed of light, the speed limit in the material universe. Now, Einstein was just wondering what would it look like if I could ride my bike at the speed of light, and suddenly he knew how. Who knows? But he just knew the answer. His Neptunian intuition spoke to him. Then, by the way, he had to prove it all mathematically. And he did. The result is called the special theory of relativity, one of the greatest intellectual triumphs of the human species. But he got it intuitively. And he later said, I didn't arrive at my understanding of the fundamental laws of the universe through my rational mind. In other words, he came to them through Neptunian means. How much do you just know through your gut feelings? You meet somebody, you've literally known them for 1 minute, and yet you know that you're going to be friends. Love at first sight happens. People meet each other, and sometimes they just know it. This remarkable transmission happens through translogical methods. We do not come to an understanding of who our soulmates are through logical means or through any other kind of rational analysis. So, with Neptune, you have no control over what comes in through your reflection in the mirror. Remember that what we are cultivating here, right at this frontier of our psychic development, is to try to make the mirror cleaner without any opinions or judgments of yourself or others. Be totally vulnerable and radically accept yourself the way you are. The Neptune energies urge you to be honest to your inner core. The simplest message that Neptune has for all of us is that you are far, far better than you think you are. So trust yourself, build the self belief, and clean your mirror. The retrograde during this time, clean your mirror. Let the shine of yourself reflect back. Coming back to the present on June 28th, Neptune stationed retrograde in Pisces and will be there until December 3rd, 2022. I have always felt that the outer planets, namely Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are extremely powerful when they start spinning backwards. And in the transits, these outer planets, how they aspect to your natal charts matter the most. That is why our attitudes and belief system changes with the growing times. So, in terms of spiritual practice, there is one Neptunian common denominator during the retrograde for everybody, and that is to create your own space to connect with your inner self every day in that Neptunian state of spaciousness, to be mindfully, gently, and consciously merge the inside out. We could call that practice meditation, we could call it prayer. Do anything that takes you in a trance like state. Sufi dancing is a very good example. Keeping that larger perspective of merging your inner core with your higher energies, that is the trick. But it is not a concept, it's not a philosophy, it is the result of a kind of deep mind training. Spiritual habits, instincts, and reflexes are formed, and they serve us well when the extremities of life hit us. Grab your personal journal and write down what you will do during this Neptune retrograde. Don't forget to understand where your Neptune is in your natal chart, for that will help you immensely. It will help you know where you need to cultivate and focus your sixth sense. So, till my next, stay blessed.
Awesome.